Chief Minister, thank you so much for joining me on stage. I have promised my colleagues that as an Australian, I'm not going to talk about cricket. Okay? We can do that in the networking after. But with the Chief Minister, we're going to chat for about 10 minutes. I'm going to ask some questions about lessons that you've all learned with your team. And then we're going to have some questions from the audience, and then we'll have some networking after. And thank you so much for the conversation. We really believe in discussion and debate, and these questions have been wonderful. So Chief Minister, you clearly listened to a great panel there and lots of insights and lots of lessons. But I want to ask you about your state, your lessons, how you've taken your team forward. India is the fastest growing emerging market in the world, but I also know it's very competitive within India. How have you and your team thought about what lessons you've had to learn to take advantage of the opportunities that India as a whole country is providing? What lessons have you guys all learned?
Thank you. First of all, let me also acknowledge that the panel we heard earlier was very good and it was very insightful for me as well. Having said that, I must tell you that you have rightly said, today in India we are experiencing huge opportunities.
Yeah.
And I think the business environment and the entire ecosystem is experiencing huge push. And for us, the learning have been that in the competitive world, we have to always be ahead of the curve. We have to always be, to do certain innovations, and we have to take major policy decisions which impact the businesses. Two things which are most important, I find, one is ease of doing business,
Yep.
and the other is cost of doing business.
Yes.
These are the two things on which you have to work every single day.
Yeah.
Because, you cannot be complacent that we have done some reforms,
Yeah.
and now we can sit back and the investment will pour in. Every day you have to do it, and that's what we have been doing constantly, how to deregulate, how to bring down the bureaucracy,
Yep.
how to provide seamless approvals to the investors. All these things we have been doing, and we are also trying to bring down the logistics costs,
Yeah.
so that they become globally competitive and they become the part of the supply chain. So I think these are the biggest learnings which I think we have, that ease of doing business and cost
Yep.
of doing business are two things on which you have to work every single day to be relevant in today's economy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense to me. Cost of doing business and ease of doing business. You get those things more favourable for business, more businesses will come. Praveen was mentioning the cost of energy,
Yeah.
but what other costs have you focused on to try and bring down those business costs?
Yeah, ultimately, the cost of land,
Right.
because ultimately access to land for a business is very important.
Yes.
And that too at affordable, price. So we have our own industrial parks, which are created by Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation. We create a pool of land for the businesses. We offer them the land at affordable rates, so that that helps in. And we also create certain packages of incentives so that they become globally competitive, because each business has some different requirement.
Yeah.
So we have found that if we make the industrialization through policy initiatives, it is better for us as well as better for the businesses. So we create different policies, whether it is a logistic policy, whether it is let's say it's a data center policy. So there are 14, 15 sectors where we have created policies, and these policies are aimed at making these businesses globally relevant. So wherever the cost of doing business is hampered by the ecosystem, we try to support there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it makes a lot of sense to me. But it's a difficult word, trust. People have mentioned it before. I do think we want to talk about it because I think trust is at a premium in today's economy. But how are you trying to build trust around the world? I imagine Davos is part of it, and shaking hands and signing MOUs and so on. But how do you sort of signal trust and build trust to tell people that the things you're doing, the policies you're creating, are not going to change in 2 months' time, and business conditions might be totally different in 12 months' time? How do you try and create that trust so people understand that this is a big decision to go there? I want to be there for 5, 10, 15 years. How do you try and focus on trust?
So I totally agree with you. I always say that in today's world, trust is more important than capital, because capital flows if you have trust, and we have been trying to do that. See, one thing which we do differently is we promise only what we can deliver.
Right.
And we are into a federal structure. There are several states who are competing with us. There's a competitive federalism as well. Every state has policies whereby they attract the businesses. So we normally, when we talk to the businesses, we tell them, look at our past history. We have delivered on every promise we made. So our incentive structure, our other policies have been very consistent. So it is, ultimately, historically, what you have done is very important. And I think that builds a trust. And they have seen that in my state, once we create a policy, for the policy years, mostly a policy is 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever the policy period is, we consistently stick to the policy. We never deviate from the policy. And that is why, the businesses feel a lot of trust in our state.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's just other parts of the world maybe don't have the same view of trust at the moment, but we'll leave that for another day. I want to ask you about gaps, things you're working on, looking ahead. What are some of the gaps that you're sort of really focused on over the next few years to continue your success, to continue attracting the businesses and talent and everyone that you want?
So I think, we are a developing country, and especially a state like Maharashtra, which is a powerhouse of Indian economy. We contribute around 13 to 14% to the national GDP. And we account for the highest FDI inflow in the country. Last year, out of all that, the FDI which came to India, 39% came to the Maharashtra alone. We are also, because of Mumbai, which is our capital, we are financial capital, we are fintech capital. So I think this state matters for Indian economy. And that is why we are trying to bridge the gaps. The gaps are same everywhere, the gaps of technology, the gaps of skilling. So I think right now, as Praveen was mentioning, skilling is an area where we are focusing more, because of late we have seen that technology and capital are flowing like anything in India.
Yeah.
You only have to bridge the skills mismatch, and that is our focal area. So we are also actually aligning with the academia. We are actually creating certain institutions whereby skilling, reskilling and upskilling is done at a very fast pace. And I think that is one thing, if we are able to, match the speed, I think we are sorted.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to come to our wonderful audience in a couple of minutes for questions, but just dig into the skilling again for me, because I imagine education is also competitive in India, but also around the world. But how are you thinking about building training and education systems when AI itself is moving so fast? People talk about soft skills, interpersonal skills, creativity. But what does that mean for training courses? I mean, AI could do some things in 5 years' time that we may have educated our young people on, but AI will do it in 5 years' time. So the question for me is, what skills, how do we nurture talent? Because technology, as far as I understand it, is moving so quickly.
So, for that, ultimately, you have to work with the businesses.
Right.
Because
to see what they need.
Businesses really know what type of talent they require.
Right.
So we have, our institutes which are called technical institutes, and these technical institute, create cutting edge human resource. Now, every single technical institute is adopted by one business or other. So they are already connected with the businesses, so that at the very focal point we create a human resource which is relevant, which is required. Today we have our skill university, and this skill university is actually created to look at the changing markets and emerging markets, so that we create the relevant course, the relevant material, so that the people are skilled to suit the market. So I think it has to be very dynamic today. And there is something called graduation, which takes time. But in today's market, more than the experts, you need people who work on cutting edge, and that cutting edge workforce you have to train, and you have to be very dynamic about that, and that's what we are trying to do.
Okay. I wish you luck. Genuinely, it's a very competitive world, and I know even within India it's very competitive. But dynamic seems to be the word of the day. We have to be dynamic as this world moves pretty quickly. We have time for questions, and we have microphones again. So we have a couple of questions over here. That'd be great. I think we saw 3 over here for the Minister, Chief Minister. Please.
Chief Minister, sir, I'm a Mumbaiker, so one of the thing we would like to see is the governance reforms for the Mumbai city. So do you think we will have an executive mayor, directly elected mayors in Mumbai sometime soon? Are we moving in that direction? Because, the last 30, 40 years, most of the life in Indian cities have deteriorated. Now we have to compete with the likes of Dubai, Singapore, and as I mentioned earlier, attract talent. A lot of high net worth people have left, not just because of taxes, because the quality of life in cities have deteriorated.
So I think you will agree to me that in last 10 years, the Mumbai has changed a lot. And the amount of infrastructure which is created in Mumbai is amazing. It's not created in any other city, not just in India, but if you compare it with any global city. So I think, yes, we require governance reforms, but that, electing a direct mayor is just one reform. Maybe later we can think about that. But, we need to make the governance more accountable, and that's what we are trying to do. Today, with technology and with AI, we are creating platforms where the governance will be more accountable, it will be more efficient. And I think, yes, you're right, that is our endeavor.
Yes, absolutely.
Hi, I'm
so much.
Paul Grunwald from S&P Global. Minister, thank you very much. I would like to get your definition of success. You're talking about capital flowing, technology flowing, labor challenges. Is success within Maharashtra? Is it against other Indian states? Is it global? Where do you want to see, let's say, 5 years down the road?
Thank you.
So I think it's very difficult to define the success. But I think if you look at Maharashtra, we have always been ahead of the curve. And today, just to tell you that if you look at the type of investments that are coming to Maharashtra vis-a-vis other states, we are way ahead. We are way ahead. As I told you, there was 1 year in which out of the entire FDI that came to India, 47% came to Maharashtra alone in our state. And today we are building new cities. We launched one city yesterday in Davos, and in this city it will be a new business district whereby all the frontier technologies will also be showcased, and it will be one of its kind district and now, as Praveen was mentioning, it is a new PPP city whereby the private sector is bringing not just capital, but it's also bringing the land. And what we are essentially adding is the entire planning element, the administration. That is our forte that we are adding. And this city alone will create 2 million jobs. Today, we are also launching an innovation city near Mumbai. Now, this innovation city is a let's say a city which will be in 200 acres. And now our consultants have studied all the global knowledge cities, all the global innovation cities, and based on that, we want to build a city for future, whereby the entire innovation ecosystem sits in this city. So I think these are certain initiatives which are defining our success and which are keeping us ahead of the curve.
Thank you so much. Another question here?
Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hi.
Yeah.
So, sir, you talked about cost of doing business. In India, so the past 5 years, India's logistic cost has come down from 14% to 8%. I wanted to ask, what is the percentage goal that you have? And today, there's so many private companies here. What do you think private companies need to do in this sector to reduce the cost of doing business? What kind of investment do they need to do? And I'd love your thoughts on that. Thank you.
No, I think you're absolutely right, because of the initiatives of our Honorable Prime Minister, the logistics cost has come down a lot in our country. But to be relevant in the global market, we have to match the global standards. And I think today, when we are trying to become part of the global supply chain, the logistic cost matters the most. And that is why, as Praveen was mentioning, the amount of infrastructure which we are creating, the port connectivity, connectivity by road, connectivity by rail, our new airports, our new highways, our new access control roads, our new tunnels, everything is defining, how we bring down the logistic cost. So I think right now, our benchmark is to be to compete with the global benchmarks.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, we have time for one more question down the front here. Thank you so much, sir. There's a microphone coming.
Thank you so much, sir. I am from Nashik. I think for Maharashtra, for our vision to go even beyond 1 trillion, I think what the world is actually not even tasted is the unlock of tier 2 cities in Maharashtra. If you can throw some light on that subject, because I know we talk a lot about Mumbai, Pune, and other cities where a lot of things come from rest of the world, but there's a lot happening in the state, in the tier 2 space, which I think the world has not tasted yet.
Thank you for mentioning this. And I think although Maharashtra is is an economic powerhouse, but if you look at the development trajectory, it has been very skewed. 7 districts contributing most to the GDP, and rest of the districts are a little behind. But now we have changed that. So we have created a new industrial magnet. Apart from the MMR region and Pune, now the new industrial magnet is Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, which is emerging as new EV hub. The new industrial magnet is now Nagpur, where the entire solar module is being created, and it is becoming the national hub for solar module. Gadchiroli, which was one of the most backward district, is becoming the steel hub. Nashik now is becoming a hub of aviation industry, and a lot of avionics and especially defense manufacturing is going into Nashik. So as you have rightly said, today we are trying to create several magnets by which all the districts contribute, and especially these tier 2 cities have a lot of potential, and we are trying to unleash that potential, and that is happening now in Maharashtra.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That draws our time to an end with the Chief Minister. I didn't bring up cricket, but we will talk about it very shortly. But thank you so much, and thank you so much again for chatting with us, Chief Minister.
Thank you.